again in my first attempt in making pork schnitzel, German style. I actually like German food, but honestly it's my first time. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it. Basically what I have here is pork that comes in this package, and this is product of Canada, so it is not from Germany, but as long as it's not from China, it's good for me. So what I did is I took out the meat and I washed it. The meat is already cooked. As you can see, this is a bag of bread, and I'm gonna bread the meat. So basically, for me, I want to make sure everything is clean. So I washed it, and now I'm cutting open the bag of bread, and I'm just gonna sprinkle the bread over the meat. Okay. It does not call for like an extra egg or anything like that, but I don't know. I only have one hand, so it's kind of hard to pour it all in. But there we go. So now I am gonna go ahead and bread the meat thoroughly. It did not tell me that I need to get extra water or something like that, but I'm just gonna wing it because it is what it is, right? So it says that you have to pan cook this. Basically, you have to cook it in oil. I think the marinade come from the bread. So I want to make sure that the bread cover my meat thoroughly. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of cooking. I like to go out and eat more. But during the pandemic and stuff, and I'm trying to save money, so I decided to give cooking a try. And if I can do it, I'm sure you can do it too. So these are pre-prepped stuff, which I got this from Costco, but still, it's worth give it a try, right? Because I've never tried to cook any food from other origin before, so this is gonna be the first time. Probably won't be my last time, because after all, I'm in California, and California is kind of expensive, so you gotta get to the program and start saving. Inflation may come up and everything is getting kind of expensive. Gas out here is already $4.95 a gallon. Last time I filled up half a tank, I was paying about 70 bucks. And that was kind of scary. I was like, dang. So it hit home real quick whenever you got to deal with stuff like that, because we have a big commute for where we work. So it looks like it's fully covered and it looks nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the pan, and I'm gonna heat the oil, and then we'll start frying. Okay, so I am going to heat up the pan. I put more oil than normal because I want to make sure that the bread get brown when the meat go into the pan. Even though the meat is already cooked and prepared, it's just that we need to cook the bread to make sure it's crunchy and yummy. So basically what we're gonna do is, once I cook the pork and make sure that everything is cooked, I'm gonna pour in the bag of gravy here, and I think the gravy is like mushroom gravy, so it came with the box that I purchased. So basically the oil is not yet high heat, so when the oil comes up bubbly, then you know that the oil is ready to go. We're just waiting for right now. Basically I double check and triple check to see if the meat is fully covered, and it actually is. Now I think the heat or the oil is ready, so I'm just gonna place the pork in with the bread surrounding the pork. Go into here and use a little bit more coating here. So I'm just gonna let that fry, and then I'm gonna coat these pieces of pork here. So basically it's like a tempura, pork tempura, kinda. If you like to eat Japanese food, tempura is like breaded vegetables, breaded shrimp, etc. And this is just breaded pork fry. So it's like fried chicken, but it's fried pork. I set this on almost high, minimum high. So it's cooking. I'm just gonna let it cook, and then I'm gonna go and prepare my gravy. I'm gonna go and get another pot to cook the gravy. So the gravy is in this pot, and it's because the box said that it's already cooked. This means that I'm just gonna warm it up and let the gravy get warm. So when my meat is ready, I'm gonna pour the gravy on top of the meat whenever we're ready to eat. It is cooking, it's just cooking very slowly because I don't want the bread to fall off of it. I just want it all to get stick to the meat. So basically what I've done is I just let it simmer, and the oil is kind of like soaking up into the bread. So hopefully it will get tasty. I'm going to start flipping over now, and as you can see, it looks delicious already. I don't know about you, but I love fried food. So this is not done yet, and the bread is falling off. So yeah, it looks delicious already. And this too is sticking together. Kind of hard to fry too as well, is because I have a small pan, and the bread seems to wanna stick together. So hopefully you can turn this over, and the bread is falling off like snowflakes. So this one is not completely done. but it's okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the leftover bread from over here, from the bowl, and I'm just gonna stick it onto the meat. Now it's kind of hot. Try not to burn your finger while doing it. There's not, some of the meat is not evenly distributed, or the bread is not evenly covered, so you can go back and try to cover it with the leftover bread that you have. What I'm gonna need to do is add some more oil in, but so basically I'm covering this one too, because this has bread, but some of it looks like it's about to fall off. Try to get it all in there and use every little bit of bread that I have. So I'm gonna turn down the heat to minimum high or slightly low, and then I'm gonna give it some more oil. So the California extra virgin olive oil is actually really good for you, and especially if it's cold pressed, unfiltered. It's good for, like, I used to try to drink it just by itself in the morning to help with my digestive system, and also to help with, like, I get a lot of heartburn and stuff like that. So basically it's a good fat for your guts. With that being said, I don't mind, as you can see, I poured in a lot onto the bread. I don't mind cooking with it. I don't mind eating with it. So it's good fat for your body. And I have been actually fasting the last week. So my body has a lot of fat stored, but then I also switch up my diet. And so having a lot of olive oil in your food is okay too. So I don't mind it being, distributed all over the pork pieces and getting it soaked into the bread part, because basically the olive oil is good for your health. So I don't mind eating this oil, so I don't mind putting it over the pieces of meat that I'm trying to cook here, and the crumbs of bread too as well. It's gonna be delicious, so stay tuned. So I personally find that when you cook, you actually have to multitask. And this is my cream, or my gravy for the pork schnitzel. It's actually being warm as we're speaking. As for the pork schnitzel, it's actually still cooking, because I have actually turned the heat to lower, just so that way it doesn't overcook. And because I am cooking with olive oil, I want to make sure that the oil and the bread seep into the pieces of pork that I cooked. It looks delicious. This looks like it's ready, and this piece kind of needs more time, but as you can see, it's very simple and it's delicious. However, I don't know what goes into the gravy. I actually don't know how to make gravy, so that's the reason why I bought the prepare package of food. And last time I have an infection by touching the pork, so I am not allergic to pork, but handling pork could be an issue for me. So I have to get the fully cooked pork, because I don't eat pork very often, and so when I handle it, I have a small wound, and it actually causes a lot of inflammations and made my finger turn purple. It's kind of gross. I took a picture of it. I'll make a video about it, but I haven't had a chance to. So basically, this piece looks like it's done. These pieces look, it's basically done. So I'm just gonna set these pieces aside on a plate. So I put in the last 2 pieces of pork in here. I also put the extra breading on top of the existing pork, just so that way when I finish cooking, what I will do is I will use the cooked crumbs and I will use it as a topping. I will show you how to do that in a little bit. So basically, when the crumbs that are left over from the dish, like this here, you can mix it in with the gravy and it will give it a little crunch. However, if these crumbs turns black, like overly cooked, then do not eat it. If it's brown like this, you can eat it. But if it's really dark and black, then I would not suggest that you eat it, because it's basically overcooked. And when the breadcrumbs is overcooked, the chemicals of it may change and it might be harmful for your body. So that's the reason why I decided, because my pork is already cooked and it's just got breaded, and I'm just gonna basically, this is like a warming process of the piece of pork anyway. So that's the reason why I cooked it low heat, and I just let it simmer and let the bread soak into the pork. But if the pork is uncooked, then I would not have done this process, like cook like this. I would probably boil the pork, make sure that it's fully cooked, bread the pork, and then I will create my own gravy. But because I bought these pre-prepared German schnitzel pork, and according to the instruction, this is how they want you to cook it, just to make sure that it's cooked correctly and the meat is warm. And on top of that, the meat is come pre-cooked, so I don't have to take more time to prepare this dish, which is what I like. I'm a full-time worker, so it's kind of hard to get things prepared sometimes. As for the gravy, it's coming together nicely. It's slowly simmering and it's just keeping it warm. So it's a mushroom gravy, and it smells delicious. I also have cut some green onions for topping, because if you are to eat this with rice, it's also good too as well. And I like to top it with green onion to give it a little bit of color. And I have chopped some garlic, which I will be sauteing some vegetables, which is going to be, I will show you that in a minute. Bought this pan brand new. It's supposed to be copper pot, and basically I use it like 2 or 3 times, and it's already the color is gross, and even I had tried to scrub out the stuff here. It doesn't really come off, so I don't recommend this pot at all. If you see this color, just try to stay away from it, because look at it, it's so gross. What I am doing right now is I am going to saute my greens in the pot here, because I have a lot of greens. The average pan doesn't really, it's not gonna fit. So I'm gonna put in some oil in the pot, and I'm gonna let the oil cook, turn on high. I'm gonna let the oil cook and simmer. I'm gonna toss in my garlic. let that go for a little bit. Going to stir it around. The funny thing is this pot was like $30-something. It's not cheap. So I totally regret in buying it. So the garlic is turning brown. I'm gonna put in my green. Okay, so the green is in the pot and the garlic is underneath. It looked like it's because the green has a lot of water too, water retention. So you can kind of like saute it and it will turn into like a green soup kind of thing. I will put in some soy sauce just to give the green some salt in there, like 2 teaspoons or something, and I'll just stir it and just let it cook. So basically this meat goes with brown rice, go with some green, go with some what you call this, gravy, and that would be dinner. Quick and easy. Actually, to prepare everything takes like an hour or an hour and 15 minutes, but it's not bad. It's healthy. You don't, and also I use olive oil, and I know what goes into my food versus going out to eat. You don't know what goes into your food, and you could be eating something gross and you don't know about it. So, I mean, I prefer to cook these slow. So because it's slow, it takes a longer time, and that's because I want to keep the bread and use it for topping later on. So basically I'm just gonna take a spoon and scoop these leftover bread out and set them aside. I try to eat all the food, but you know, sometimes I have leftover and I have to throw them away, especially on the weekend, because on the weekend I like to go out to eat, so that way my favorite restaurant doesn't close. But and that's when I have leftovers, tons of leftover from the restaurant or whatever, and I can't seem to always finish it, so then I have to throw away food, which is very not good, but still. So I don't want these to get overcooked. I'm gonna get a spoon and scoop them out. And whenever we're ready to eat, I'm just gonna top the rice with the bread, which give it a little bit of a crunch because it's fried, right? And it will enhance and give the rice a little bit of taste. So in a minute, I'll show you how I would prepare the food with the rice and everything onto the plate. That way you can see. So I just put it over here, set it on top of the cooked food, and just let it sit there. And move these over here to where most of the heat are, and it's cooking nicely. Like, you're using every bit of the bread and every bit of the meat, so it's nice. And this is still warming. It's still on warm. And this is actually cooking, so I'm going to give this a little stir. So you see there's a lot of water coming out from the green, which is okay. Sometimes I used to drink the water, or if I used to, like if I make a soup or something after, then I will take out all the greens and stuff and put the water into the soup, because all the vitamin and nutrients comes out of the greens when you cook them, right? So you don't want to waste anything. But you don't have to drink it if you don't want to. I honestly don't drink it anymore, but I used to. And when you cook the green, you want to make sure you stir it, because yes, you can eat it raw, but when I cook my green, I want to make sure they're all cooked. When I eat it raw, I'm okay with eating it raw. But because it's dinner and I don't want to have like upset stomach in the morning, so I don't want to eat anything raw. And normally if I eat salad, I would try to eat it early in the morning, like for lunch. But at night I prefer my stuff cooked. This one is going, and I'm gonna flip it over. Hopefully this looks like it's ready to go. This one looks like it's ready to go too. So this one doesn't look like it's ready to go. It just needs to be brown some more, so it looks good. There we go. I'm kind of very happy how this turns out, really. Because it's been sitting here at number 3, or yeah, so minimum cook. It's not too hot, not too high, and I like how it turns out. Let me go back and stir this some more. Great. Here we go. And isn't that? So it looks great now. It's cooked, so I'm just going to turn off the heat. This one, I'll give it a little stir. I guess we're ready to eat. It's delicious. Okay. So I'm gonna take out a plate here and get ready to prepare the food. So this is the finished product. Basically, if you want to eat more gravy, then you can slash more gravy on there. But for me, I like my meat crunchy and have taste, and eat the bread. So I just dazzle a couple of scoop of gravy, and as you can see, the portion is just rice with the crumbs, the bread crumbs on top, with the green onions. And that is the sauteed green that I have, that I sauteed a while ago. So basically, everything is intact and together. It didn't take very long to prepare, but it's actually very, very delicious. So my family, there's 4 of us, so we have to like portion out because there's not a lot of meat. And with this, I don't think there's gonna be leftover either, so which is good. Since today is Friday, we don't want a lot of leftover, so it looks delicious and I cannot wait for dinner. What do you guys think? And I only have one more pieces to cook here, so I'm done. Yay! Yay for me! Delicious and healthy dinner, even though it is fried food, but I use good oil, so I feel comfortable feeding my family this dish.